Welcome to the Strpd Club, the podcast that strips away the noise and dives deep into the real, raw conversations every man needs to share.
Hello and welcome, guys. We are here. This is season 3, and we are at the Strpd Club. As you would see, we're in a whole different setting. Doesn't mean that I'm making a bunch of money. It just means that I am working on my branding, and came out of my living room for this one because this one is pretty special. It's special to me, and I hope it will hit home for a lot of you fellas that have been tuned in, rocking with me for so long. You learned a lot about me. I have been very transparent in terms of my journey from Trinidad, coming all the way up to the United States in a foreign land, the struggles that I've experienced, the lessons that I've learned, and we're here today. So thank you for everyone that has kept up, has tuned in, has sent me messages of just thank yous for doing what I'm doing. Because let me tell you, it's been very, very emotionally draining to sit in front of you every week. And, as my mother would say, air my dirty laundry. But I do hope that my dirty laundry helped someone, if it's just one person. I think that, on my journey, I've been able to find my purpose. And my purpose is sitting in front of you today and, sharing my story. But enough about me. You've seen 2 seasons of me. And today I have a very special guest with me. He is an author. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but this is his book, I See You Brotha. And today I want us to welcome David Brunson. David, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Strpd Club. They have no poles in here, no strippers, but we are going to get stripped. So, David, the author of I See You Brotha, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And so for those who may not know you, give the abbreviated version of yourself, of your history, and why you're here.
All right. I'm a former athlete and now personal trainer, author, and father.
All right, you say former athlete. What sport? I don't want
football and track.
Okay, all right. I didn't want to put you in a bucket just because you look like you are a football player.
Definitely was that.
Yeah, no
Definitely.
basketball.
Nah, that wasn't my thing.
Okay,
not my thing.
And how long you played football?
I started 8th grade all the way through college.
Yeah, You hit your head a lot, or
surprisingly, nah.
No. So you didn't have much playing time then?
No, it wasn't that. I actually, okay, let me change that. So I hit with my head. It's just I never had a concussion.
Okay, you're one of the lucky ones, right?
I'm blessed. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I didn't want to attach the concussion to now you writing a book. You hit your head and you're out here trying to touch some brothers.
I'm definitely blessed that I survived all that hitting without a concussion.
Okay. Now I mentioned on the intro to you that you are an author of this very powerful book, I See You Brotha. What led you to write the book?
What kicked it off was that I don't know what day it was, but it was a day, and I think it was May of 23, that I was having like a mental breakdown, didn't know what was going on, and like I had to end up canceling all my clients and everything.
Wow.
And I did enough therapy to know like when to reach out to somebody or whatever. So like had lunch with someone and still couldn't figure out what was going on. But then I got back home and it was like 5 p.m. I was just like, you know what? Let me just pray. Let me just pray on it.
Amen.
And that's what came to me was I need to write about what was going on in my head. And at that time it was, I've tried so many things and I continue to fail.
Yeah.
No matter how far I go or what I do where I think I might be succeeding, it still ends up failing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just failing at life right now. I'm failing my son. I'm failing in relationships. I'm failing in all these different things in life when, little successes need to still be counted. But in that moment, it was like I was just worrying about the failures.
Yeah. And men hate to fail. Eh?
Oh yeah, definitely.
We were programmed that failing is not an option.
Absolutely,
You
man.
know, and I think we share that, you know, when it comes to looking at failure across you know, as a man, that really shakes us. So kind of led me to why I started the strip club too, you know,
Yeah.
because I felt like I was a failure,
Yeah.
and I felt like I was failing in a lot of aspects of my life. And you know, I decided I wanted to share. So I shared on the podcast, and I'm happy to see you, you know, taking up the pen and using your own vehicle by means of your book, I See You Brotha, to start sharing. Because I know for men, if they pick up the book and they start reading it, they will see that a lot of us share a lot of the same challenges
Absolutely.
and obstacles in life. So so the strip club is about us being raw and really open, a little bit vulnerable. How do you find your story connects to that mission?
Well, starting it off, I started off by talking about stepping out from behind the curtain and actually just putting myself out there. And I go on to talk about like suicide and having tried to kill myself twice before the age of 10. But then also talking about football and how that shaped me, and realizing that like I'm more than an athlete, but in that time, all I knew, you know, and that led to more suicidal thoughts and everything like that. And, you know, and how fatherhood and prayer and everything has kind of gotten me out of that. So when you're talking about vulnerability, like I don't think it goes any further than like when you're talking about wanting to take yourself out because of not being seen or not being heard, and like that just builds up anger and resentment. So,
but how do you as a 10-year-old get to that point where you're ready to make that decision?
Here's what's crazy. That is not something that's like talked about in our community, right? Early on. So the feeling, I don't know where it really came from, you know, but I was a middle child of 5.
Yeah.
And
so you lost in the mix.
right there in the middle. Like, so I had 2 older brothers, 2 younger sisters. Like the 2 older brothers, like they were always with my dad, but those were my mom's boys.
Yeah.
And then just the opposite for my dad and the 2 girls, you know, so those were his girls and they always with my mama. So like, I remember a therapist asked me like, what is your first memory?
Yeah.
And like, just thinking back, I was like, not fitting in.
Yeah.
You know, so like just being in a room where you feel obviously not seen, you basically ignore it in a way, you know, as that middle child, and you're always the blame for everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah.
Did you have any outlets at that time? So how did you work yourself out of that feeling?
I don't remember, honestly.
But you're here today, right?
Thank God for that.
Amen.
You know, I was in church, like I grew up in the church. But it wasn't until like I got into football that like that was just my getaway.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. Like I could take out my anger. I found like that was my safe haven. Aside from the church. Yeah. The football field was it for me.
But you mentioned even during your football time that you found yourself reverting to that feeling. Did you?
Sometimes it was that now the feeling of like just that not being wanted or anything like that. It would show up when it got to the politics of football and stuff. So, but outside, like after football was when that feeling really presented itself, because that's all I knew myself as was football. You know, even though I had good grades and I was educated and everything, it was just my life without football wasn't worth living.
Yeah. And as a black man, did you feel seen?
No, never. That was a constant thing for. So most of the football teams I played on were at schools that were predominantly white, and all you're known for, all you're good for is athletics.
Yeah.
That was it. So bringing problems from home or just outside problems, it was never anything that was like worried about.
Yeah.
So just go out there and play. That was it.
And did your how did your parents play a role in supporting you through those challenging times? Because as a kid, like you gotta feel like, I mean, I felt bad as a kid, but I don't think I've ever gotten to the point as a child. Maybe more in my adulthood, you know, late teens, especially leaving a country and coming to a new place, feeling out of place, like those suicidal thoughts are there, right? You tend to not address it, but like, how did your parents play a part in, you know, kind of like getting you? Because as I said, you're here now, so something had to come in and through the hand of God say, hey, we have you, you know?
So there's a thing about parenting that a lot of people don't really talk about, and that's you're learning as you go, you know. And if some parents aren't equipped with the tools to talk you out of it or just guide you out of that, then it takes an act of God.
Yeah.
You know, so my parents didn't know anything about it until when I wrote my first book, and really got a grasp of it last year while I was writing it.
So wait, we have a book before the book?
Yes.
What's the name of the book before the book?
When the Lights Are Brightest: Reinvention of Self After Sports.
Okay. So I need a copy of that book, David.
I'll get that to you.
I need to find that book too.
Yeah, I'll get that one to you.
Because this book is a great read, and you know, I urge men to go out and pick it up. Where can they get it?
On Amazon.
Right. So I urge them to go and pick it up. I See You Brotha, and you know, support, you know, the story. From your perspective, you know, you've shared quite a lot in the space of the first 3 minutes of this interview. That, you know, even in my research on you, I wasn't privy to that information. What do you feel most men are hiding?
Pain. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
The realities of what a man is, men and marriages and everything else. Actually, this past Sunday, I was at a book club, and I was the only guy there. And it just turned to them asking me questions and stuff, and it was really along the lines of what you just asked me. And I was like, most of you guys will never understand what the weight a sigh of a man actually is, like what it has, or the mindset. Like when I was married, every single day, it was a worry that she'll just take off.
Yeah.
You know, that's something that a lot of men deal with, right? That's a real thing, but you don't hear about it. Like that is a constant thought in our heads. Like if one day she might wake up and unhappy and like, I'm taking the kids and I'm gone.
Yeah.
You know? So like it's the weight.
Did you read my book? Because that's
No, I didn't get your book.
I don't have a book yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm saying that's a page out of my book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's you know, it was real for me. Like, you know, being divorced for a year. You know, celebrated my divorce anniversary in June 2nd. It wasn't a situation where I was like, hey, let's get divorced. It was more like, hey, we need therapy. And it was just, you know, she's just like, nah, I give up. You know, I'm gonna do this by myself.
Yeah.
So I was left, you know, jaw on the ground. Not that I was the happiest of people at that time, but I also attributed divorce to being a failure. And I didn't want to be a failure.
Yeah.
Right. So just kind of like, as your parents say, you make your bed, you lie in it. I was going to do whatever I needed to do to try to keep my family together, happy or not happy. Right. And I figured if at least we could get into a room where we can chat about it, that they may have some opportunity here to, you know, at least have a respect for you understanding me.
Absolutely.
And you understanding that I understand you.
And that's what that is right there.
Yeah. You know, so I See You Brotha. What does that mean?
What does it mean? We all go through a lot of the same things. So the pain that you feel, although it might be a little bit different, I most likely feel the same thing that you feel. I've gone through some of the same things you've gone through or going through. So I see your pain
Yeah.
basically, and I can relate to it.
And that's one of the surprising things for me when I first started the podcast.
Mhm.
I had so many men and women, but I'll talk about the woman who reached out after. But so many men reached out to me,
Mhm.
either congratulating me for creating this space and putting myself out there. I have had friends that called me to share stories
Mhm.
that I knew nothing about. And these are
Yeah.
my friends. And the struggles that they have had to deal with, challenges that they've had to overcome,
Mhm.
and more importantly, alone, not being able to share it
Mhm.
with your other
Significant other,
friends.
yeah.
You know, so it left me with a drive to continue
Mhm.
sharing and continue creating a safe space that men could tap into and say, hey, like as your book says, I see you, brother.
Mhm.
Because the outreach from the male community has been significant, and it was a huge. I thought I was going to be made fun of, right? I thought that I was going to be called everything under the sun,
But a child of
because it's a
God.
soft space for a
Yeah.
man to kind of enter into, and but for the most part, I feel like it was embraced.
Mhm.
Even the my WhatsApp chats, which is just guys either talking about soccer or my high school reunion group. To see them and the comments that they made
Mhm.
after certain episodes, it really, I was just like, oh wow, like everybody is dealing with something,
Absolutely.
and we share a lot of the same struggles. So it was really powerful,
Yeah.
to get that response from them. Um, and I have a question. Why
Okay.
why do you feel that most of us live in this emotional survival mode?
Why? We grew up having to survive, and that like I said, a lot of parents are learning as they go. They're not equipped with dealing with their own emotions, let alone a child's. So you learn and you just continue what you know. So I I think that's why, like, we grow older and just continue on the same things, and unless you do the work to try to navigate through different types of feelings and see why you feel this way and all these types of things like that, you're gonna just spend your life just surviving and not actually living.
Yeah. And how do you think your father or your your caregiver
Mm-hmm.
played a role in shaping you as the man you are today? Because you did reference the fact that as a parent, we are
Mm-hmm.
learning as we,
Mm-hmm.
from what you know, from how you were raised.
Yeah.
Like how has that shaped you?
I've had to learn how to forgive.
Yeah,
um,
amen to that.
I'm
Yeah,
telling you, even though it was never anything discussed, it was something that was lived,
yeah,
right? A lot of us have a lot of different types of feelings for whether your mom or your dad or whatever, and for a very long time, like I did not like my dad,
yeah,
you know, and it was from a sense of, why are you the only one that can show emotion, and we have to be okay with it, but we can't show ours. It's like, just deal with it type stuff. And I'm like, ooh. So one of those biggest things I learned from him was how to forgive, because I couldn't just continue being angry.
yeah,
Learning to let go of things and grow from that. But my hat's off to him. you know, Having 5 kids and a wife, and just always striving to just continue to go.
You said 3 boys, 2 girls?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, and my parents still together. Just, 41 years?
Oh, that's clap.
Yeah. So
Clap, clap that up.
look, so I always, that's something I've always dreamt about doing, and I've always wanted that, So like I applaud my dad, for just continuing to just try to climb his way out of, life's
And
purgatory.
I would love to get him as a guest on
bro,
this
you
podcast.
You ever seen Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah.
He has not been able to watch that.
Oh wow.
Never. And I've seen it once, and I've never been able to watch it again.
Now that's what Will Smith, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When I tell you, like,
and his son.
Yeah, and like, look, we've been in homeless shelters. We've been in one bedroom hotels, like with all 7 of us, like the parents and the kids. Like, so, like, that's why he's never been able to watch it.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to rewatch it because I've lived it.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to find my way, So
still in the pursuit of happiness.
Well, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna always try to create moments to make myself happy, and that's the biggest thing. But the pursuit of success.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I definitely need to get your dad's contact because, to say he was married 40 plus years and he's still, he's kept it together for so long. For somebody who was married for 18 years, I know what that feeling can do to you. And as a man to carry that weight and for your kids to come out, like you, 2 books. Ex-athlete, and in the pursuit of success, as you say, he did a lot of stuff right, and that hats off to that, So you spoke about therapy, and you spoke about forgiveness. What does healing look like to you?
An everlasting thing. I don't think you're ever going to be totally healed from something. It's just, you learn the tools necessary to keep going and deal with those emotions that come up whenever, like a trigger.
Yeah.
Instead of lashing out and everything, you learn how to actually just sit back and assess, like, okay, why do I feel this way? So I think healing is just understanding the growth, understanding growth in the process of just continuing to be better, a better version of yourself.
All right. And what practices or habits helped you or helped bring yourself closer to your true self, finding that true David?
Not caring what people think.
That's hard, man. Especially in this day and age, because there are comments all over the web, in your face every day. How do you make that happen?
One thing is that I have no expectations for anyone. I'm for real.
Yeah.
The only expectation I have is that you're going to be who you are. And if you act out on a way that I dislike, okay, you just showed me who you are.
That famous DMX saying, trust a snake to be a snake.
Exactly. So like I said, I have no expectations. That way I can't be disappointed.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm happy. If I have expectations on everybody, I'm not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be let down a lot.
Yeah.
So
you seem to be in touch with your emotions.
Very much so.
So how do you balance, as a man, right? How do you balance that strength and softness? Like how do you make that work?
The softness part it comes from my childhood. And to this day, like, I never want anybody to go through what I've gone through or feel the way that I felt growing up. So I make it like my life's mission to just make sure that I'm there for people, so especially in a relationship.
Yeah.
So like, I want to be that ear for you, and I would say I finally got somebody to actually be an ear for me, which is crazy. But it's a balance, and especially with dealing with a woman, you can't be hard. You have to know how to be soft at some point.
But it's difficult after you got. Women feel that like they're the only ones that go through stuff that changes their next story, right? It's just
Absolutely.
like, but men go through it too,
Yeah.
you know? So, how do we create safer spaces for men to be more emotional without being judged?
Are we talking about inside a relationship or
A
just in general?
period. If you wanna talk about
What we're
inside
doing right now.
relationship,
No, but for
Yeah.
our outlet tends to be what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
Man to man, right? It's
Yeah.
easier to talk to you because you've gone through a lot of the same
Yeah.
things that I've gone through or going through, as opposed to talking to a woman that there's more feeling involved in
Yeah.
it when we're trying to logically think of, okay, I got to figure this thing out,
yeah,
instead of, why won't you talk to me?
yeah,
Because if you're my issue, I'm going to be the one apologizing.
be careful using those trigger words. Issue, right?
If
'Cause-
if you're my issue at
Yeah,
the moment,
yeah.
because issues come and go.
yeah,
It is what it is. Just like happiness, it's a fleeting thing. If you're the topic,
Yeah.
let's say that. Okay. If you're the topic of why I feel a certain way,
yeah,
I don't need it to be turned back on me.
yeah.
Just listen to what I have to
Yeah.
say, and then we can address, other things. So
Ty, do we have like the claps that we can add to this? Like, because these gems that are dropping, like I want to clap myself because it's difficult to talk. And listen to this, right? I put this podcast out for men, for a safe space for men, right? And I mentioned before, we'll talk about the woman's reaction to it. And they are like, they want to come on and be guests. And I'm like, I'm like,
can't
hey,
do that.
this is not, can we have something for us?
There you go. That part right there. That part.
It is because they have a story that they want to share, and and I'm not disputing the fact that we don't go through the same types of situations,
Both parties.
but I still need you to get the fact that we do go through the same type
Absolutely.
of situations, because I don't think that is a box that is checked when they're looking at, like, oh damn, like he could be feeling like this too.
Look, have you cried in front of a woman before?
Man,
Okay.
you
How she
play
felt
my
after that?
wedding video,
Bro.
like
That's the only time it's acceptable. But I'm like, when I said the weight of a man's sigh,
yeah,
some women can't handle it.
yeah,
Right? Because you don't know what he's carrying.
Yeah.
Like he has to carry his emotions, your emotions, the children's emotions, and everybody else's. So like if you walk in the bathroom and you see him on the side of a tub with his head in
Yeah.
his hands crying, it's like, are you equipped with
yeah.
the tools to handle his emotions?
Yeah. But we're going to evolve this podcast eventually into having a female voice on it.
Awesome.
Because I don't want this to turn into a bash session, right?
Then that's not what I'm doing.
No, I know you're not, but then I because there are always two sides to a story,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
And I want the dialogue to be really objective.
Absolutely.
In terms of us not saying that you're wrong, because we wired differently, right? But at the same time, getting to a space where you understand that
The other's perspective.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And I think that's very difficult for most women to do.
Look, I think it's hard. I think it's difficult for men as well when it's dealing with the emotional side of things as well. Especially if you haven't done the work to understand emotions. So it's one of like you said, it's just having the dialogue.
Yeah.
And having the dialogue where both parties are listening and not just reacting to what everybody's saying.
So we come back to the ladies. Your book, I See You Brotha. What was the hardest chapter for you to write in this book?
The hardest part was Sins of the Father. It was the hardest part, but it's my favorite part. And oftentimes when you hear Sins of the Father, you think about everything that he's done in his past is going to come up and come back up. But in this sense, I'm just talking about his experiences as a man going through society and stuff. And I'll just talk about that one part where I'm leaving my friend's house. My son's in the back seat, and we just hear sirens, And at this time, he had just turned 4, and he just bursts out crying. And he's just like he's hysterical, and he's like, "Dad, I don't want you to die. I don't want you to go to jail."
Yeah.
This is 4 years old. Never had an encounter with the police or anything like that. But in that moment, like I at first I kind of like laughed, and then I was like, "Wait a second, where's this coming from?" So like I called his mom. She's like, because I had just got back from Utah. So I called his mom and like, did anything happen when I was gone for these few months? And she's like, no. So then I'm like, oh crap. My experiences is showing up
Yeah.
in him. Cause like, yeah, I may not deal with a lot of police or whatever. And I've had my run-ins with them. Like, I haven't done anything,
Yeah.
but
but
it's just it's a common thing.
Yeah.
We've had our run-ins, you know.
Nothing that we've done, but we've had our run-ins.
You know, like, am I afraid of police? No.
Yeah.
The only time I will say, like, people ask, like, what are you afraid of? Is me getting pulled over and something happening to me with my son in the seat, and now he has to live with that. That's the only fear that I walk through life with. Is my son seeing his dad, you can say emasculated or whatever, in front of him, and he has to live with that.
The abuse of that power.
Yeah.
That they tend to use quite a lot. You know, even from a traffic stop to, you know, domestic violence or whatever it is, you know. But yeah, I feel you on that. Anything you left out in writing the book?
Okay, personally, maybe.
Maybe. I don't like maybe.
No.
There's a podcast about transparency. There's no maybe here.
The reason why I said maybe is because that book was more spiritual for me than it was a personal, like me just
I like
thinking.
that. I like that you have these excerpts from the Bible in the book.
Yeah, like I said, like, I didn't want it to be so wordy and everything like that to where like, okay, this is what I'm thinking or whatever. Like, if it's in there, that was meant to be there.
Okay.
Like, that was what was given to me.
It's guided.
And and so I didn't want to put anything else in there that could throw it off.
Yeah.
Even if it was good, it could have still thrown it off because of that wasn't meant to be in there.
So there's a third book coming.
Who knows? If it's in God's plan, then that's what it is.
Amen. And how have men responded to the book?
Well,
anything surprised you by the reactions?
I think the most surprising one was another Barbados friend of mine. He read it. Actually, he was reading it as I was finishing it. And
Caribbean man and easy.
He was like, man, I'm going to be honest with you. He's also my workout partner. So we just finished working out, and he's like, that book made me pick up my Bible I hadn't picked up in years. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously, like, it's not a preaching type of book or whatever, but it's something that I'm like, I want to help, like, let somebody find guidance wherever it may be, you know. And I think that was the most surprising part right there when he said that. But that's good,
man. You just touch one person and job done, you know.
Absolutely.
You know, like God shows up when he needs to show up to who he needs to show up. You know?
I say an assignment. When you have an assignment, your job is to just do that assignment.
Yeah.
Whatever comes of it is not your responsibility. It's like, you did your job.
Correct.
And that's what that is. I did my job in letting that
I like that. That's a powerful story. For your son, keep referencing your son or any future generations. What do you want them to know most about being a man?
It's malleable. That's not being a man isn't just set in stone. Like, what a man is not set in stone.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what, you know, people want to say is a man is protect and provide, but what does protect and provide actually mean? Does if my provision looks different than just a monetary thing, if I pass away and I've left my son the blueprint to make a success, would you say that is provision? I provided something.
Yeah.
You know, it may not be millions of dollars, but it's something to help him continue and learn and grow.
And we talked about future generations, but for men right now struggling in silence, what would you say to that brother?
find a group of other men, get a part of a group of men, good men, and just listen to
better say good men, because
Yeah.
find out you have all kind of men out
There
there.
are.
You know?
And- yeah.
You end up in the wrong group.
No,
You know?
but get around good men, good people.
Yeah,
Good people in general, men, women, whatever, good people are good people.
yeah.
And just talk. Get rid of, I'm gonna call it toxins.
Yeah.
Don't let it just sit there and create more toxins and more cancers in you.
Yeah.
Because it's a dangerous place.
Yeah.
That is a dangerous place to be.
Or they could tune into the podcast and listen to an episode, and
There you go.
that will work. All right. So as we come to wrapping up this session, this was exciting for me. I have a little rapid fire round of some questions for you. All right. So I don't want you to think too much about it.
Whatever
I just
comes to
want
my mind. Gotcha.
first thing off the top of your head, right?
All right.
So a book every man should read.
Well, what the heck? I know. I just drew like I had one. It just escaped my mind.
So I'll ask it again so we could start over, right? A book every man should read.
Disruptive Thinking by T.D. Jakes.
All right.
Yeah.
One word to describe the modern manhood.
Like I said before, malleable.
Therapy, yes or no?
Yes.
A song that has been healing for you.
My Life is in Your Hands by Kurt Franklin and God's Property.
And what's the most misunderstood thing about men?
That we don't have feelings, but we do.
So in closing, what does it truly mean to be seen?
Being able to be open without being judged.
Okay. I let that sit for a while and let that marinate.
Yeah.
Some gems you dropped here today, man. So why don't you tell the people where they could connect with you, follow up with you? We already spoke about the book, where they could find the book, but you on a personal level, where can they reach out?
You can reach me on Instagram. When the lights are brightest, is with DA, not THE. So when the lights are, Jesus, excuse me. When the ink dries, excuse me. I'm thinking of, you got me with my first book. No, when the ink dries. It's with a DA, when the ink dries.
Okay. And if you're comfortable, can you share one truth about you that you've never shared publicly? Send my ratings up now. Come on.
Honest, I've been an open book, so it's kind of hard to pick. Yeah, that I haven't said.
So that's one truth. You've been an open book.
Yeah, I'm an open book.
Because people, they see us and they feel like we're closed.
No, I'm an open book.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
And like if I can help somebody, I'm going to. So.
And finish your sentence for me. I see you, brother, because
I've been through what you've been through, and I'm going through what you're going through.
I like that. Well, thank you for coming out today, David.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate your time. And that's it for today, guys, the conversation. I really hope it gave you something real to think about. Here at the Strip Club, we're not about pretending or putting on masks. We're about honesty, healing, and growth. If this episode did speak to you, do me a favor. Share it with another brother, a friend, anyone who needs to hear this message. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Do your brother a favor now, so you don't miss the next one. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for listening. And thank you for most of all being a part of this community. And as always, as I close each and every episode, stay stripped. Thank you.